Hey guys, welcome to the Sunday market breakdown. This week I have four pairs on watch and we'll be kicking things off with pound Swiss. So last week we had this pair on watch and we had a sell bias. However, we didn't get that commitment and we'll be talking about this in details. So on the daily time frame, we're starting on the daily time frame. Last week we were currently sat around this level where I said price is at the level of support where we could get a bit of reaction and price could come up at this point here and get that momentum to continue to the downside. But what we got was a breakout. So on the 4 hour time frame, price came to that level. You know, we had a bit of reaction. The momentum was quite impulsive. It was very impulsive coming into this level. So again, of course, I wasn't looking to get involved on the risk entry, even though we had, let's say, a bearish candle for me to start selling at this point with my stops just above this level. Because of how impulsive this move was to this area of interest, I was a bit cautious and I was waiting for, instead of a risk entry, I was waiting for a reaction of this level. Let's say price coming back down and then giving us a bit of consolidation to continue lower. So this play was going to be the safest option because of this momentum to the upside. So since we didn't get it, I was waiting for the pullback and then the consolidation. We didn't get it. We got a breakout instead. This trade was off the charts. I didn't take it anymore because what I was expecting didn't happen. It's as simple as that. So we broke out of this level. I also had this point drawn. I was expecting a bit of reaction here. We didn't get it. Instead, we closed with the very engulfing bearish candle where price broke out, and this is where we are currently sat at the moment. So, because of the reaction we've had last week, the bullish move to the upside, my bias has changed from selling this pair to buying this pair. So since we've broken levels where I was expecting price to react off from, the question is where is price going to? Where's the next level of resistance price could react off from? So if we look higher, look left, we can see that we have a double top sat at this point here where prices could actually tag. So if that's the case on the 1 hour time frame, how I'm looking to play this is just this is already drawn. I'm waiting for a nice flat flag because we are quite into the move already. There's no reason for anybody to get in on a, let's say, okay, this is it, a very tiny correction at this point here. We need a well developed and well formed flat flag on the 1 hour time frame to get that confirmation to get involved to the upside. So if we get something like this, a pullback, I will draw my inflation point and then the second touch at that level. I'm happy to take a risk entry at this point with a bullish candle close. Stop loss just below that level to tag this point here for 6.08%. So that's how I'm looking to play pound Swiss going into next week. Very bullish. I want to just continue this trend and capitalize on the bullish one to this point of resistance at around 1.13811 level. So if we get this flat flag, I'll be happy to bind this pair back to this level here for 6.8%. Okay, so the next on my list is pound card and we'll be starting on the monthly time frame. So on the monthly time frame, price came into this level of support, in 2022, and since then we've just been trending higher. We've seen price moving higher. So the question is, where are we going to? We had this point marked where we could see price reacted up from, and we also have this level here of resistance, expecting price to come into that level. So we could zoom in on the weekly time frame where we see price form a double bottom at this point. At this point here, we had the first hook point, price came back there for the second time, and then we had a bit of momentum to the upside. So on the daily time frame, I have this internal structure drawn. I think we can clearly see it better on the 4 hour time frame. So if we go to the 4 hour time frame, we have this level of resistance here. Price used it as a resistance. We had the impulse to the downside, and then at this point, it came to this point and it turned to support. And price used it, moved higher, finally broke out of that level. And with where price was trading last week, and with how price was just trailing to the upside, I actually thought that we were going to get a reaction of this level, maybe to the downside, but we didn't do that. What we saw was a very big momentum to the upside with this candle, and we are just expecting that continuation to the upside. So, going into next week, how I'm looking to play this is, since price is trading above this internal level of support resistance. This level was a support level that we were expecting to turn to resistance at this point. It was support here, we broke it. I was expecting price to react to this level as resistance to continue moving lower, but we had that momentum to the upside. So the question is, where are we going to next? So the first inflation point, if we look left, is this point here. So how I'm looking to play this is just get a nice correction, a continuation pattern to continue to move higher. And if price is to tag this monthly level of resistance we've drawn, remember on a monthly time frame, we have this point here where we are expecting price to come into. So if price continues to move higher, we could see price, finally come to this level. So for those that are swing traders, they may be likely to hold this trade for that long. But as a day trader, probably 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, depends on what the market gives me. I'll be able to hold this trade. So my first point of interest is around this point, and then we'll continue to trail our stop loss as price continues to move higher. So the second inflation point will be this point here, this level of resistance here, and then maybe back at this high at this point. So I will just be trailing my stop loss as the market continues to move higher. So how I'm looking to play this is just to get a nice flag on the 1 hour time frame. So if we get a pullback or correction, we'll get a very flat flag. I'm happy to take a risk entry, waiting on, you know, a bit of reaction of this level, a close with a bullish candle, stop loss just below that point, and happy to play this move to the upside. So that's my play on pound card going into next week. Okay, so the third on the list is Euro pounds, and last week we had this play on watch. So we saw this level of support where price came very close to, but started moving higher, and we we are expecting price to go higher to areas where there are volumes in the market to continue that move to the downside. So on the daily time frame, we had this point to run at this point where we were expecting a push up from. So we were expecting this to happen. We were expecting a reaction and then bit of consolidation to sell to continue that move back at this level of support on the monthly time frame. But instead, I think last week we were just at this level here. We were stalling. So on Monday we were here, and then throughout this week we've just been at this point here. Though we've had a bit of reaction of this level, we see price moving lower. So the question is, do we still have a sell bias or we have a buy bias? So going into this week, personally for me, I'm very neutral on this pair because last week, even though I had a sell bias, we are currently sat at a level of support where we could see price react from and continue moving to the upside, at least back at the top of this range. So how I'm looking to play this, I'm neutral on this pair. So in the case of buying, I am waiting on a reaction, let's see, a momentum out of this level of support, and then any form of pullback. I'll be interested in buying to the top of this range. So in that case, I'm interested in this push high to this point here, and then we'll see what happens. So if I'm able to get a nice consolidation or pullback on the 1 hour time frame specifically, I'll be happy to capitalize on this move back to this point here, and then we'll see what the market does when it gets to this level. So that's the buy bias on Euro pounds. So the sell bias is just simple. This is a level of support. I want to see price sort of move away from this level, come back down with Very nice momentum, showing commitment to the downside. And then we get a consolidation. So if we do this, very simple for me, I will get involved in the sales stop loss above the level of consolidation. And of course, target will be back at the lows. This support level on the monthly time frame. So that's how I'm looking to play Euro pounds. This one is very simple for me. I will not be getting involved here at on a week's entry, because if we go to the 1 hour time frame, as much as this level has held at this point as support, moved higher, there is no reason for entry at this point, because even if price is going to come into the upside, we have all of this room to play the range. So there's no need trying to catch the bottom, because trying to catch this could lead to unnecessary losses where we get price move higher and then come lower, take our liquidity before continuing to the upside. So the better play is just to wait for price to move away from this point, form a bit of consolidation, and then we can capitalize on the move to the upside. So that's how I'm looking to play Euro pounds going into next week. I'm neutral. If we get an impulse, I'm happy to play the take the pullback to the upside. If we break down, I'm happy to take the correction to the downside as well. So it's just a matter of letting the market give us a message and then we react. So that's my analysis on Euro pound going into next week. So the last on the list is Euro USD. And this one, we also had it on our watch list last week. So last week, on the 4 hour time frame, let's start from there. We were currently sat at this point here where I said I was gonna wait for price to take our liquidity and then get in on the close on the 4 hour candle. No, I was waiting on the close of a bullish candle on the 4 hour time frame to get on risk entry to the upside. So price didn't quite tag this low at this point here. Price came close, we didn't target, then price just started moving away. So on Monday morning when I woke up, price was currently sat at this point here, and then of course this is a level where I had drawn as well. So if I just extend it, yep, okay, so this was the point I had drawn as well, where I was looking for price to get a bit of reaction. So the thing was, we were currently sat at this point, and the question was, if I get in around this area, do I have enough room from where price could get a bit of reaction to pull lower? So I just decided to let this break out, and then I watch and see if we get other opportunities, other pullback to get involved in the longs back at this high where we had drawn for price to come into. So price finally broke out. We created a consolidation. If um, I'm being honest, favors my entry criteria at this point here. So I'll just put this in here. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to capitalize on this move. If you look at the examples I've given, let's say we have a level of resistance. I've always said my best play is to get, okay, let's say with buy. This is bit of support. Let's just buy buying position as an example. So we have a bit of support here, price react up that level, and then the second time we compare, I want to see price break out of that level and then continue moving higher. So this way I'm able to place my stop loss properly, using this breakout as a guide on where my stop loss will be, and then you know start moving my the profits and start trading as price continues to progress higher. So that's the play on buy position for my entry criteria. But in this case, we had the inflation point one, point two, and price finally broke out of that level, but then came back into structure. So there was nothing holding me back from taking this trade. You know, entry will be here, stop loss will just be below that level, using this breakout as a guide to place my stop loss. And then, of course, target to be back at this height for around 4%. But I didn't take this trade. I was watching this, I had this drawn on my chart and I just left it. I didn't take the trade only because I was looking at my past trading log and I noticed that most of my losses were coming from buy positions. So in my head, I just told myself, maybe I don't know how to buy. I prefer selling and buying because most of my profit were coming from sell positions. The buy positions were always hitting my stop loss. So I just didn't take this trade subconsciously. As much as I analyzed that it was going to come higher, I didn't take the trade. So I feel like this is something that I have to work on this year in my trading journey. Of course, this is just a myth. There's no way the market will be trending higher and I will not get involved because I'm limiting myself of my progress and profit, potential profit am supposed to be making. So this trade, I didn't take it and would have been, let's say, 3.5% profit if I was locking profit and just trailing as price continued to progress higher. So this was my fault. I didn't take the trade and price played out. If you took the trade last week, congratulations. You probably banked 3%, 3.5%, depending on your management style. You probably made profit on this trade. But unfortunately for me, I didn't. So it's something I'm going to put in my trading log and just take note of and continue to learn and progress from there. But going into this week, I of course this is still going to be based off the DXY. We've had this level where we were expecting price to come into. It has impossibly broke out of that level now. So the question is this just a breakout for price to continue moving lower, you know, or is this going to start using this level as a bit of support to continue that trend to the upside? So in that case, if that's the case, I think the next point of interest is going to be this point at around 1.06300. So the next area of interest is going to be this point where we'll see price coming to, but again, it's still going to be based off the DXY. So let's go through 1 hour time frame. So the 1 hour time frame, if we've had the first inflation point, which is the first bottom, I'll just mark this point here and then maybe mark this high too as well. So if price comes lower, we do this could be a nice play back at this point here. So if this works out, we could get a bit of profit from this break of structure back, you know, to the next area of interest at this point. So again, it depends on the DXY. So if we go to the DXY, let's go to the DXY. So if we go to the DXY, I think we should add it to the red list. All right, so if we go to the DXY again, last week I said price was currently sat at this point of resistance here. I said we are going to tag the low, which we did, and currently we are trading below that level now. So Euro USD is still going to be based off DXY. If we get pullback, consolidation, and price continue to move lower, guess what happens to Euro dollar? Euro dollar will continue to move higher as well. So if we get this on DXY, a bit of consolidation correction, it will give us an idea of what the euro dollar is going to do. So if this happens, I'm going to be bullish on euro dollar still going into next week. So I'll be happy to get involved. This time, I promise myself and I promise you too, I'll be taking this long to the upside. So there's no reason for me to, cap my profit because I prefer long selling than buying. So there's no reason for me not to capitalize on this position if the opportunity plays out. So this one you can hold me to it. I will be taking this trade if we get a nice pullback at this level, and then again in correlation with the DXY, if we get a bit of pullback on DXY to favor the move to the downside, I will be happy getting involved to buying this pair to this next inflation point at this point of resistance. So next week I'll be bullish on euro dollar based off DXY coming lower. So that's the analysis, guys. So we have euro dollar, we have let me go back to the red list. So we have pound Swiss, pound card, euro pounds, euro USD, and DXY based off euro dollar going into next week. Have a good week, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.